Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. The FCC has adopted some new rules to help speed broadband deployment, some new pole attachment rules. Be right back with some details. Thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here from Zquorum with Broadband Deployment News. So just a quick one today. I just want to make sure you're aware of this. You may have seen it. So you see here, FCC seeks to improve pole attachment process. And then on this page, there's their news release, a couple of statements, one from Chairwoman Rosenworcel, and then also Commissioners Starks and Gomez, if you wanted to check those out as well. So the news release is pretty brief, but covers kind of the highlights of what this is doing. So you see here, FCC seeks to make pole attachment process faster, more transparent, and more cost-effective. Adopts a fourth important order, declaratory ruling, and a third further notice of proposed rulemaking. So in the description of this video, I link to this page that has this link to, as well as those statements, plus I link to a fact sheet, and then that's followed by this report and order, the ruling, and the further notice of proposed rulemaking. That fact sheet came out in November. So the FCC has been looking at this for a while. This has been a consistent complaint and issue among operators that need to attach to poles that are not their own. So, for example, it could be a internet service provider in an area where there's a independent telephone company or a utility of some kind, a electric membership co-op or some other utility that owns those poles, and they want to get access to it to install fiber on that pole, generally now. And it seems to be like there's roadblocks thrown up, or just a lot of work involved, make-ready work, and the poles ready to have something attached to them. And so there's lots of questions about that, and who pays for those. I think maybe some of that's still up in the air. But what the FCC is trying to do is put some things in place to make this process go faster. And again, it's generally been an issue because for one thing, you've got the pole owner, and this is work that they may have to be doing, and they've got their own things that they're doing. Plus, it's very possible that there's somebody that could be deemed a competitor coming in there wanting to attach those poles. So they might want to slow walk that for some reason. Not for some reason, but they may say, well, this is a competitor that's coming in and wants to attach to our poles, and maybe they're already providing, maybe it's a phone company already providing internet service, could have been through DSL, or maybe they're doing fiber now, and then somebody else is wanting to come in, a competitive carrier come in and attach those poles. That could cause some friction and again, make these things take longer. So the FCC is trying to clarify some things and do what they can to make these things happen faster, more efficiently, maybe less cost involved. So the FCC today voted to further reform its pole attachment rules and policies to promote faster and more cost-effective broadband deployment. These new rules will allow for faster resolution of pole attachment disputes, the kind of disputes I was talking about, and provide pole attachers with more detailed information about the poles they plan to use as part of their broadband build-outs. Utility poles are key to the Commission's efforts to support the deployment of broadband infrastructure, as those poles support the wires and equipment that carry broadband to American homes and businesses. And of course, this doesn't really apply, pole attachments, obviously, if you're going to be burying the fiber, but a lot of times to reduce costs, operators will do aerial deployments where they're going to run the fiber just like you would aerial power lines and aerial cable for HFC plants, those kinds of things. It's getting less expensive to do some buried fiber, especially if they do the micro trenching. But still, I think aerial deployments, depending on the ground where you are, obviously, and then also just could be more cost effective. So a lot of companies will be doing that to try to keep the cost down, to be able to get more of their potential subscribers connected for less. These new rules will speed the pole attachment dispute resolution process by establishing a new intra-agency rapid response team and providing the team with specific criteria to apply when considering complaints. So basically this is good. They've got a team of people now that are going to be looking specifically at these things. So that will be their job, or at least they will be tasked with that. Whenever they get a complaint, they are the ones that are supposed to rapidly respond rather than having these things just kind of sit out there and wither on the vine. The Commission's rules also will increase transparency for new broadband build-outs by allowing attachers to obtain pole inspection reports from utilities. In addition, the declaratory ruling provides important clarification regarding, number one, what constitutes red tagging and when pole replacements are not necessitated solely by a new attachment. And really, that's the way that they are defining that. So a red tag would be when a utility company, you'll see them if you go out, and sometimes you'll see them on poles. They'll look like a tag with a red arrow on it, might have an X through it, or maybe a circle through it. And not all utilities do this. That's one reason why I think they don't all do it the same way. I think that's one reason that they're trying to define what the red tagging is. But it could mean that that red tag could be a warning to people not to climb that pole. It could be a warning, or I should say, to take caution when climbing that pole or to not climb the pole, depending on the state of the pole. And what the FCC has said is that for them, red tagging is just if how do they put it here? Red tagging and when a pole replacements are not necessitated solely by a new attachment. So you can't just say we need to red tag this pole, or let's say replace this pole because primarily or only because we're putting on a new fiber or something like that. It could be that they plan on replacing this pole anyway, so it's not due to the new fiber. So I think that's what they're saying there. The obligation to share casement information. Oh, easement. Sorry, what is casement? Easement information. You can see how small that is on your screen. It's small on mine as well. The applicable timeline for processing the attachment of requests for 3,000 or more poles. So when it gets to that size, they've got here, as I mentioned, applicable timelines for these kind of larger orders. In addition to the new rules, the Commission proposes to set defined timelines for large pole attachment applications, and that would be these 3,000 or more, and seeks additional comment on ways to further facilitate the approval process for pole attachment applications and make ready to enable quicker broadband deployment. And again, quicker broadband deployment is in everybody's benefit, unless the owners of the pole are saying, well, we've already got broadband here, or we've already got internet here, and they're trying to maybe prevent a competitor from coming in and using those. But for the most part, I think everybody would like to get these things done quicker. It's just a matter of focus. And again, having this team to look at these things and some of these rules will help improve that. So again, I linked to this. I also linked to this right here. It's a fact sheet. Again, this was back in November when they did this fact sheet, and they've been accepting comments on this. So I think now basically what they said is we voted on this, and this talks about, back then from November, it talked about what this report and order would do, a kind of repeat of some of the things that we just went through there in the summary of what they did vote on. And then there's the very long document here, the further report and order, declaratory ruling, and further notice of proposed rulemaking. And you can see it is a very long document. So feel free to read through that. I'm not going to do that for you. Been through this. I think I looked at this before and went through some of these things in a previous broadcast. I can't recall for sure, but they've been talking about this for a long time. So it's certainly possible that I did cover this in the past and maybe go through some of the details here. But anyway, just quick news on that they have voted on this. I'm not sure if we'll be seeing any other paperwork, finalized paperwork from them on that that would replace this one that we're looking at from November. Not sure about that. But anyway, in any event, this is good news for those that are going to be looking at attaching to poles. Hopefully it will make the process faster, easier, and maybe less costly for you. So I appreciate you joining me today. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified when I'm live. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. See you next time. Bye-bye.